Daniel.
Timothy.
Welcome back to the Fairview Social Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I'm glad that you came out here on this beautiful Saturday morning.
As always, it was a wonderful drive, so...
Well, good. I'm glad you had a wonderful drive.
Yeah.
So how you been doing? Let's start with this. So you were my second guest.
Yep.
Mike was number 1, you were number 2, and now you're back for number 20.
Golly, really? That's the big gap?
20 episodes.
Well, okay. Well, here we go.
Since your first appearance.
All right. Well, let's start the awkwardness.
Start the awkward.
Yeah.
awkward
I can't even say it right, you see?
Oh, let's talk about this for a second. I've got actually one of my notes here.
Okay. Yeah.
First of all, I texted you this morning and said, hey, I don't really have any notes, so we can talk about whatever.
We're just going to free ball this thing, aren't we?
Well, I was planning on free balling it, but then I started worrying about you because then you were like, well, I don't have anything to talk about or something.
We can ping pong off each other. I mean, it's not like I'm Mike Riley or anything, a professional podcaster.
He is. He thinks that he's a master podcaster at this point.
Those are your words. I don't know if those are mine, but
well,
what makes him a master podcaster? Can I ask you that?
Well, I don't know that
Is it the engaging? I mean, what is it? Is it not talking with the hands or making eye contact with the camera?
the master came from just the number of times that he's been on here,
okay.
not his style.
Okay, all right. Well, that makes me feel a little better.
Yeah, I mean, he's been on here 4 times, and Jess has been on here 4 times. This will be your 3rd.
I mean, I've been up since 1:30 just contemplating what we're talking about here.
Well, I mean, I don't know that you need to lose sleep on what we're talking about. We're just going to get on here.
I'm just teasing.
Talk a little shit, maybe talk about life.
I like life.
But let's talk about, well, this is probably going to come out after Father's Day.
Okay.
But I figured it would be a good time to talk about father-type stuff.
Yeah.
But I want to start with...
Great men raise great men who raise great men who raise great men.
That is true. I actually have that sign right there.
Wait a second. You do not.
I thought you were saying that because you read it. You lie.
Oh, shoot.
I thought you were just saying that.
That is true, though. I did appreciate that quote when I walked in. But
well, good. Eli got that for me for Christmas one year.
It's great. I will remember that tattooed on the brain from this point forward.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about your high anxiety situation.
I don't have high anxiety. I mean, I do.
Maybe not necessarily right now. I'm just saying in general, you have high anxiety.
I do. I think I battle with that. For sure.
Let's talk about it.
Okay. Well, what do you think my high anxiety stems from?
I don't know. I mean,
too much caffeine, too much nicotine.
I am high anxiety as well, but
confident in myself. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm confident in myself, but maybe I'm just
as I've gotten older, I've been more like calmed down.
Yeah, I think there's certain times where here's my issue, and I think I experienced it last night. Is that when something bothers me, I stew over it. I can't let it go.
Yeah.
And it's like a 24 to a 48-hour period where I'm just like,
yes,
like not inconsolable or like my wife just, God bless her at this point, but I think she just knows to kind of like just leave me alone, and I'll just deal with it.
Yeah.
And I, in my own way, whether it's usually just, retreating and being quiet, and I don't even know, just pondering it, just having a conversation with myself through my head about, what happened, what transpired.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I've never gone to like a mental, like a health therapist or mental health therapist.
Well, no, you're managing it.
I don't feel like it's gone to that level, but sometimes I'm just like, and it doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's like, fuck.
Well, you have a tendency, what I've noticed after knowing you for several years, and I do this too, but you have a tendency to hold on to things for a while.
I do, and that's where I actually thought about this when I stopped at the gas station. I was like, I can be I'm a good friend to have, and I'm a really bad enemy to have.
Yeah.
Not like in a bad way, like I'm going to hurt you or do any of that, but like you are right. Sometimes I do hold a grudge, like.
Well, not necessarily a grudge,
but like not like that.
I mean, like you're holding on to like whatever you're angry about.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. Like I sit there and stew about it, and I just can't let it go. And there was this one, I forgot this quote. I think it was like Denzel Washington or something. It was like, hey, it was like basically, you have X amount of. I guess it was like X amount of pennies. It was basically how many seconds you have in a day.
Yeah.
It's like if somebody took one of these pennies away, would you be concerned about it? You have all these other pennies, and it's like, don't let somebody steal your, your day, your 2 days because of, You know what happened. You just got to let it slide off. And a lot of times I feel like I try to do that, and I feel like I'm getting better at that. But sometimes it's like I just can't turn it off and be like, no.
Yeah, I think we all have a tendency to, hold, like I said, not hold a grudge, but hold on to things where maybe somebody wrongs you or does something, and you're holding on to it as this person has just gone on about their life and don't even think about it anymore.
Yeah, and it could be as simple as like sometimes when we banter, with the boys, and you may say something like I said something to Joseph that one time, and he got pissed off and held on to it for 6 months. I was like, you got something about a 17-year-old mind. Obviously, I was kidding, right?
Yeah,
I think you took it to heart. I mean.
He did take it to heart.
No, he didn't talk to me for like 6 months.
Yeah, and I think he's
just okay with it now. I mean, I apologize. I was like, dude, I was totally kidding.
Well, this is just a good example of
exactly.
Sometimes
in my mind, it was a simple barb of joke, and then in his mind, it really hurt him. And I understand that because it's happened to me before, where I'm like, why can't we just all get along? I mean, he said stuff to me where it's like. Bothered me before, and I just haven't really said anything. Yeah, but I let it go. I don't hold on to it for 6 months.
Well, I think
hold on to it for maybe a day or two.
It's just a good thing to know that sometimes our words are big in people's ears.
Exactly, and that's cliche as it is. Words, what is that?
Well, this is what I was always. Sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you, which is an absolute lie.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd rather be physically hurt than
I think so too.
Mentally and emotionally.
Yeah, but, I mean, what do you like? If somebody says something to you and you're upset or about a situation or whatever, and that's the other thing too, is like when you stew about or you make a mistake, you're like, shit, I should have done this, or I shouldn't have done that, and it's.
Well, yeah,
what do you do to help mitigate that and help process that mentally? I mean, to help you. I mean, I used
to hold on to things forever, and there's still things like even when I was a kid. I remember I played basketball when I was like 8 or 9 years old, maybe up 10 or 11. Yeah, it was when I was older, 10 or 11. Is like before you're about to be a teen, like
right.
Your hormones are going wild and you start getting self-conscious about yourself. And I was playing basketball, and this girl that I know said that I had a bubble butt. and
I know, I get it.
It's now here we are, 30 something years later, it's like, I still remember that moment. And I remember all through, going through puberty and being a teenager and worrying about that stuff. Like somebody said one little thing about something that doesn't even matter.
Right,
and she was probably just saying something off the top of her head. And I would hold on to that. And I did that all the way up until, I don't know, probably it's been recent, the past 5 or 10 years.
Well, I'm definitely not calling you bubble butt.
Well, don't call me bubble butt because
I'll call you strong butt. I mean, that's a sign of having a strong glutes right there. I mean, like you're snatching and cleaning and doing all that weird stuff with that strong glute butt of yours.
Thank you. Isn't it weird though how like you remember those little things?
I know. I get it.
I wish that I could remember like better things than remember dumb things like that.
Well, there's good things that you remember, but I do remember bad things too. I mean, I remember getting turned down by a girl in 3rd grade. She called me 4 years because I had, wore hearing aids, or I still do, but they're in the ears, so you can't really see them. But that hurt too. But and so that and I get that. So you become self-conscious because of those comments, and then I think that stems and that builds that anxiety going through that childhood, and then dealing with that anxiety. Sometimes you find negative outlets, and then.
Yeah, well, a lot of people get trapped, like locked up into drugs and alcohol.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like you find a negative outlet, and then it just starts going to shit.
Yeah, that's a big problem.
Thankful that didn't happen to I mean, I'm sure. Sure you toe the line. I mean, I'm sure I towed the line back in the day, and.
Well, I think that when you get older, it kind of manifests more into like anger and holding on to things as like your feelings are hurt back then. And listen, I ain't no therapist.
Me neither. And what I'm telling you and our viewers / listeners, all 10 of you out there, read the fine print. We are not therapists at all, and what we're telling you is probably wrong. But
we're just telling you experience.
What we do. Yeah, exactly.
But I would encourage you to not hold on to things.
I agree. I actually was driving up this way this morning, and then I was, going down that back road, and then I was going by the creek, and Not Too Far Away came on by Dire Straits. I love that song.
Yeah.
And I see a sandhill crane in the
little creek bed there. What, did it give you peace?
Yeah.
No, that kind of stuff's awesome when you're out there in the nature and you see. I see those things out there all the time. You might want to just start driving out there and just hanging out with it.
I don't know why I'm emotional now.
That's all right.
But yeah, I don't know. So,
well, you got to do what you got to do.
There'd be worse things out there, right?
Yeah. So, well, it's good that it brought you some sort of peace.
Well, we always say when we saw it or see him, it reminds Erica of her mom, and then it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's good.
So, moving on.
All right. Should I make fun of you?
Yeah.
Should I make fun of you?
I guess it just made me realize, like, just remembering her, and it just, there's going to be a lot worse things. She's not here with us right now, and it just,
yeah.
A sense of peace came over, like you said. So, yeah.
Yeah. And actually, you saying that reminded me, and I think that you're the only person I talked to about this on the podcast, about my friend Clay that passed away, not in 2021, in 2001. We were both working for the parks, City of Brentwood Parks and Rec, and he passed away while we were there.
Yeah.
And there's this bike connector from Crockett Park to River Park.
Yeah.
And we used to have to go down through there, and we, trim up trees and do all that stuff. And he had this pager. Clay had this pager back then when we had pagers. And like a month or two before he died, maybe 2 or 3 months before he died, he lost it out there somewhere. Wow. And I remember after he died, about 3 or 4 weeks later, I was walking through that connector, and I was like, just give me a sign. Clay, give me a sign that you're here. And I fucking looked down.
No way.
And that pager was sitting on the ground.
That's unbelievable.
I know. And I'm like,
did you keep it?
Hell yeah, I kept it.
Do you still have it?
It's probably in my stuff somewhere. But when you have moments like that, they're massive, because you go through your life and you're just like, it tears me up. It probably does you. Like, I want to know what's more. What's after this? Sure. There's got to be more than just all this stuff that's going on.
100%. And actually, I saw a little short on Instagram, and it was kind of talking about this parallel of two babies talking in the womb, and one was like uncertain about what was outside, and the other one was like, of course there's life beyond this. There's this mother who's gonna. And this other one's like, well, we're gonna walk. Maybe we can walk and we can eat with our mouths. And this guy's like, and the other baby's like, well, we have an umbilical cord and this and that and the other, and it just kind of represented of that. There is life beyond death, and that. Yeah, there's something bigger than us that I feel like, if we just open our hearts to it, that definitely is out there,
Yeah, it's like you get these little blips through your life, and honestly, I think that a lot of that stuff is happening all the time.
Sure,
we're just not tuned into it.
Exactly, you're not paying attention to it. You're not slowing down, and like I think that's what you're saying is like we're just constantly just going point A to point B.
Yeah,
you're not slowing down and taking the time to actually.
Yeah, all the things
see the good things, the small things that
all the things that like are that I guess we would consider paranormal are really just things that are really happening, because it's like we're so.
So when you say paranormal, are you like talking about ghosts or like spirits or the like?
I'm just talking like, I don't really like even using the term paranormal, but I think that we are tuned, like we were born. Or at least the evolution of humans have become like we talk to each other through language and we do all that. But I think that we're all telepathic, and we did that, but we've lost that muscle over the years of just language and stuff like that. So I think that we can feel that there are things going on around us that we can't see with our eyes.
Right.
And I guess paranormal was probably a bad word for it. I just think that it's all happening.
Sure. Like okay. Yeah. Kind of like not a simultaneous world, living within this world. Is that what you're kind of referring to?
I believe that everything is happening all at once. I don't believe that there's past. I don't believe that there is future, but I think that all of these things are happening all the time.
Yeah.
And so
It's interesting.
I don't know. That's a rabbit hole that we could go down if you want, but
I mean, okay.
I don't know how we go from.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you? Okay, well, kind of from the emotional standpoint. I mean, are you like when you listen to music, or do you see like a sad show or whatever? Do you get like goosebumps, or do you like?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think I would argue. I would hope that most people feel that way.
Yeah, I'm sure that everybody
Get
does.
that.
It's like
Has that perception, but I guess I read something that says if you feel that I guess you're more tuned in emotionally.
yeah, maybe.
But again, I just feel like how could you not feel that?
I know.
Or sometimes, you know what I mean? You hear a beautiful, song, or like every time the national anthem plays, I typically always get goosebumps.
Yeah, it's because there's meaning behind it.
Yeah, right.
I have this thing. I don't think I've ever told anybody this before. Maybe I've told Nikki, but like I feel like I have this block in my mind, like this block of like, if I could tear down this block, then I would be exposed to like all of like more than what we're dealing with here.
Yeah, like saying like almost like what is it, like we only use 10% of our brain or something?
Yeah,
like
something
that,
like that. But I feel like it's like my head hurts because of the block, and maybe maybe we fast forward and it's like, hey, Tim has a brain tumor, and that's why he felt like he had this block in his.
No, don't speak that. Don't speak that.
No, I don't know how to explain it, but I just feel like
Do you feel like physically your head hurts sometimes?
Yeah, because I just feel like I'm on the cusp of like knowing something more than what I know, but I have this block. I got these blinders on.
I'll be honest with you, that's pretty fucking deep.
I didn't think it was really that deep.
I mean, but like, what gets you into that? Like, is there can you say like a certain example that you can provide to me, and like you specifically remember you were sitting down and you're like, man, if I could just get rid of this.
Yeah, all the time. Like sometimes I'm sitting here at night.
Like, is it like when you're praying? Is it like, I mean, when you say you get rid of this, do you feel like you're going to be like a supercomputer? Or
no, no. I just feel like there's a block in my mind that's keeping me from knowing more things. I don't know how that. I don't know
just on all spectrums.
Yes, on all spectrums. Like
not just
Like I was saying a minute ago, like. How can we tap into that part of our of who we are? But I don't know if this block has anything to do with that. But I just feel like my mind is blocked.
Yeah, I can understand that.
And as I get older, you get wiser when you get older.
Sure.
But I feel like all of that's just gone, and I'm getting dumber.
Nah, you're not getting dumber.
I just feel like I'm getting further away from that,
dude. No, you gotta change that thought process.
Yeah, I guess so.
Just like you said, we're getting older, we're getting wiser. We gotta, change that thought process.
Well, we're getting older and we're getting wiser, and we're
hopefully getting wiser.
We're dads. There's 2 sad dads right here.
There are 2 sad dads.
There's 2 more that are not here.
Speaking of dads, did you see that picture this morning that Joseph sent?
Actually, you know what? I might have a little something for us to look at here.
You know what my response was?
What?
That those are the best dads ever.
Well,
they raised me. Obviously, that was a joke.
You know what? They raised me too. So let's go.
If you're listening, I love you and thank you for raising me. But
let's go through.
They raised me through the TV screen.
So John Lithgow,
that was the show. God, he was the dad for Michael J. Fox, right?
Yeah. I didn't watch that show.
Or was it Life Goes On? Maybe it was Life Goes On with da 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 da.
Yeah.
Remember with the mentally?
Oh yeah.
Porky? They call him Porky?
I don't remember. I never watched that. I think I was too young for that. But
it was on every Sunday. I love that show.
But this guy, Uncle Phil.
Oh my God! Rest in peace.
Yeah, R.I.P. Uncle Phil.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Well, let's talk about him for a second.
Okay.
Did you? So back in the day, did you watch it as it was on TV, or you just watch reruns now? Or
well, back in the day, I watched it as it was on TV 100%. I mean, remember that intro song? I mean, we memorized that by heart.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then I don't know if I can do it right now.
Who's your favorite character on that show?
I really like Carlton.
Yeah.
And the Carlton dance.
Oh yeah, Carlton was awesome.
That was, he had a good head on his shoulders.
My favorite was always Jeffrey because he.
Oh, I forgot about Jeffrey.
Because he's always like these
the
British motherfuckers.
Yes. Didn't he have like a British accent too?
Yeah, he had a British accent, and he was always like,
"Yes, Master William."
Yeah, Master William.
Master William. I can't do it with the deep voice.
But then my dad's favorite show when I was growing up was Married with Children.
Okay, so that's one of these shows that I never really got into.
Oh, really?
It was.
I didn't get into it until I was older because even back then it was like, toeing the line of being like really inappropriate.
And I don't think my parents I can't specifically remember if my parents would not allow me to watch it because she had, obviously my mom was very voluptuous and Kelly was obviously always attractive.
Yeah. Peg Bundy and
but
Kelly.
The aesthetics of the show, even the aesthetics of the set, I don't think it kind of turned me off. Like I didn't want to watch it. Like it was like watching Trailer Park, and I don't know, for some reason.
Yeah.
Aesthetically, it wasn't pleasing to the eye.
It was one of those shows that my dad, if like my dad was watching it and I walked in, he wouldn't care if I watched it. But if my mom knew that I was watching it, I would get in trouble.
Yeah, I think. Come to think of it, I think I chose not to watch it, really. I mean, I watched it here and there, but like it was, nothing serious.
What about this guy? What about old John Goodman? Roseanne. I watched the shit out of Roseanne.
Of course.
And actually, I don't know if you know this, but the Connors actually just ended. Did you ever watch it?
I never jumped onto that bandwagon. Was that any good?
Actually, so the story.
I was thinking about it before Roseanne got kicked off again.
Yeah, I was going to say. So she got kicked off, and so they killed her off on the show.
How did they kill her? Cancer?
Pills.
What?
Pills.
Even worse.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Well, it was all political.
I know that, but you can't do to the character.
They killed her off because of that. But I will say that the Connors was actually really good.
That's disheartening.
But what I also will say is that the finale of it was series finale of it was a few weeks ago. It was the worst fucking finale ever in the world.
It's like The Sopranos. Remember The Sopranos? How it
I never saw The Sopranos. Don't tell me anything about it.
Well, I didn't ruin it. It's just,
but
it's kind of like one of those things. It just stops, and you're like, what the? Like it leaves it up to you, type of thing or whatever. But it's like.
Well, did you watch Roseanne when you were younger?
Yeah, I did, 100%.
I think that show resonated because that's like most of America.
And that's when I started realizing, or not realize, I guess it didn't really matter, but remember when, who's the oldest sister on that one? The blonde-haired?
Becky.
Becky, and Becky's character changed like three different or it went from the original Becky and then whoever that other Becky was, and then it went back to the original.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell? Why is this?
Well, in the Connors, it was the original Becky, but the other Becky actually showed up in a few of the episodes in the beginning of the Connors.
Oh, really?
It was just kind of like a, I don't know, shout out to her.
Okay.
But the original Becky played Becky in the Connors.
Yeah, and then Darlene.
Yeah.
I kind of got along with that.
Yeah.
She was kind of against the grain,
like the goth before the goth.
Yeah, not really, but she wasn't like straight goth. It was like just kind of rough around the edges.
Yeah,
don't tell me what to do.
Even in the Connors, she was like that. She was actually, I like that character.
Yeah,
I like that character.
I appreciated it. And then her boyfriend that came along,
Mark. No, not that was Becky's boyfriend that died.
I forgot about Mark too, the guy with the leather jacket,
the motorcycle, and all that shit.
And he started working for Dan in the motorcycle shop.
That's right.
And Dan opened up the motorcycle shop in the backyard.
Yeah. Who was it? David was.
David, that's right.
Yeah.
What's his last name?
I don't remember.
I think he lives in the Governor's Club in Nashville. At least he used, or I think he rented the house in there.
He made a few appearances in the Connor, but I kind of feel bad for him because they made him out to be a shitty parent on the Connors because he let the dad that wasn't present and all that kind of stuff for the kids. Yeah. But anyway, so what about this guy?
Oh, Family Matters.
Yeah, well.
Steve Urkel. I mean, we know that's our favorite character.
Carl.
Carl. I mean, God.
It was his wife's name, Henriette, and she was like, Carl.
Did you realize Carl in that picture is probably younger than we are now?
I know. That's do you ever see that on social media, like where it says,
all the time.
50.
All the fucking time.
50 back then and then 50 now. It's pretty
insane. Crazy. It's like when we were back in... when Dazed and Confused came out back in 94 or 92, it was written in, the time of 72, so 20 years ago. It would be like us watching a movie about 2005 right now.
That's fucking crazy, man. It's really.
Remember how old that was?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh man, I love that movie. Anyways, sorry.
But Family Matters. Now I don't know if this was you, but for me on Friday nights.
Yes, the TGIF. It was the full gamut. It was the lineup. Can you tell me what the lineup was?
Well, it changed a few times, but it was Full House, Family Matters, Step by Step.
And after Step by Step, I was kind of like, I'm going to bed.
Yes, well, there was one more.
Melrose Place.
No, it wasn't that. But man, Full House.
Oh, I know.
Family Matters, Step by Step.
And then on Wednesdays, that was Beverly Hills 90210.
I never watched that.
And then the other one, Party of Five.
Yeah,
that was a good one. That was the kind of.
I remember on Sundays there was the America's Funniest Videos and America's
always Bob Saget,
which we'll get to him here in a second.
Life Goes On.
Life Goes On. Yeah.
Balky was his, no, that's
Perfect Strangers.
No, that's Perfect Strangers. Yeah.
But Fridays on TGIF was always.
And then you parlay that into Saturday morning cartoons.
Exactly. You know what's crazy about it now? It's like nobody is watching TV on a Friday night anymore.
No, because that's what it was.
Well, I mean, yes, people are watching TV on a Friday night, but these were like their big shows, and Friday was like the day that you put the big shows as to where now it's like Monday or Tuesday.
So it goes again. I'm 44, you're 44, born in 1980. We were raised in the 80s and the 90s. So every Sunday, I'm sure you were the same way. Parents got the Tennessean delivered. It's the big fat paper.
Oh, yeah.
Had all the, the comics in there, had all the ads and the sports, Sports Unlimited, and you can go buy something here and do that. And there I go, tapping on the table.
That's okay. You can tap on my table.
Joseph's
not here to
yell at me.
Yeah.
Don't tap on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, but
you know what? I'll tap on it too.
That one's for you, Joseph. Anyways, no, yeah, but you took the time and you got the TV guide out and you went through the whole week and you were like, all right, Monday, shit, there's nothing on TV. Oh, no, wait a second. There's MacGyver on at 7 o'clock on TNT. I'm watching that. Hell yeah. We got Monday covered. At least I got one show. Tuesdays, there's nothing on,
Yeah.
Wednesday, we got that, the power lineup on Fox, which was, Beverly Hills, Family Matters, or not Family Matters, but Party of Five, and then I think that's one time with Melrose Place and the other weird one, but I never watched those. And then, like you said, you had the Friday lineup, and then
isn't it weird
Saturday morning, and you just planned your whole week out. Like, I'm gonna watch this, and
isn't it weird though how Fridays now is they would never if they had a new show
I know
that they're trying to promote, they would never put it on a Friday.
Oh hell no!
Actually, Fridays was when you saw like a new season of a show that you like in the 2000s, and it got moved to Friday. They gone the next season.
It's unbelievable. I mean, oh gosh. And two, and then it transitioned into, remember the TV Guide channel?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Where it just slowly and you turn it on, you're like, shit, I just missed what's going to be on VH1. You got to sit there for a whole 60 seconds and wait for it to come back around. And you're like, yes, all right, it's going to be on. I'll switch the channel. Sometimes you can just, flip through all the channel lineups, manually and figure out what's on before the whole thing can get through the lineup.
Looking at this picture, I want to talk about Family Matters some more, but looking at this picture, they didn't have, what was it, Patrick Duffy that was the dad in Step by Step?
Oh, yes.
He's not on there.
That is true. Well, see, there's two of them. This middle guy, I don't know who he is.
Yeah, I don't either.
We'll get to him.
So anyway, Carl on Family Matters, so he was a cop, just like a patrol cop. He wasn't like
I forgot about that.
Like nowadays, you'd have to be like a detective and whatever. But
just a little beat cop.
But it was funny because nobody really remembers anyone other than Carl. I remember the wife, the kids. I remember Laura.
There's two sisters. There was
Laura. Hey, Laura.
Oldest brother. Remember who had the flat top?
Oh yeah.
Theo, I think was his name.
Yeah.
Theo. And then
Theo was Theo in the Cosby Show, wasn't it?
Yeah. Who?
He was something, but I always call him Theo in anything that I see.
And then you had the older sister.
Yeah.
And then you had that younger sister.
Yeah.
So it was three boys, and then you had Steve Urkel as another character, as a main character.
He originally wasn't supposed to be like a main character.
They had him in. That's exactly right.
People loved him.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's so funny because you remember the episodes when he created the thing and he became
alter ego.
He became Stefan.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yo, Stefan, what's up, dude?
Because I remember thinking, I'm like looking at him real hard to make sure it was him. You know.
Oh, I knew it was him, but it's like, because you knew he played a character, but it was so cool to see that other, like, wow, okay.
Yeah, like he was playing Steve Urkel really good.
It was like, yeah, it was transformative.
You know, the last time I saw Steve Urkel, Jaleel White, I think is his name, was in an episode of House. You know, he was in a prison, or he was working in the prison, or one of the inmates.
Jacked up and beef? Or?
No, he wasn't anything like that. He was just like a side character, not very much in it. But I was like, that's Steve Urkel.
That's funny.
But
it's like one of those characters, like you pigeonhole yourself into this, and you can't ever get out of it. You know, like some.
Yeah.
Like I feel like some actors are very conscientious of what roles they take on because they don't want to be like in this. It's like Jim Carrey always playing the comedic role when he wants to, like, no man, I want to play a serious role.
You know, one of the best movies with Jim Carrey,
like
Truman Show, but the best serious movie he's ever done, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
It's a
fucking
great movie,
fantastic movie,
sad movie, but it's
very sad. But anyway, so Carl was awesome. Steve Urkel, you're right about the actors doing that. I think that they probably threw that Stefan thing in because he is starting to get older.
Sure.
And he was like, you know, I don't want to be known for this.
I mean, I would think that, yeah. I mean,
but unfortunately,
couldn't probably shake it.
Yeah, he couldn't shake it.
Couldn't shake it.
All right, so one of the best on this list, R.I.P. Bob Saget.
Oh, that's right.
Died from falling and hitting his head, man.
That's right. That was was that kind of like strange?
It was, but it sounds like it was all legit. It wasn't on drugs or anything, nothing like that. It was legit. He fell and hit his head and died.
His famous quote, fucking,
You
suck dick for fucking marijuana, man.
That's what I was You know, when I saw that clip, like, all I knew of Bob Saget, because I didn't realize that he was a comedian.
I know. And apparently he's pretty raunchy.
Oh yeah, he's like very. I went back and watched some of the stuff. This was after, like, I had the shock of him being.
Yes, you never would have thought.
But he, like, on Full House, man. I'm telling you, Full House is probably one of my favorite shows of all time.
I mean, it had so many characters and so many dynamics. It was captivating.
You just wanted to be that family.
I know.
It was like 3 men and a
I
baby.
wanted to live in that fucking house.
Oh yeah,
it was
I
like
know.
14 levels, especially when Jesse got married and pregnant.
Oh yeah, and then in the
loft.
attic.
I was like, man, I would love to live up here. That'd be awesome.
That show was so awesome because you grew up with those kids, and I actually really like.
I know you saw them exactly.
I don't know if you agree, but I love Fuller House too. Did you ever watch that?
I didn't see. I didn't get off. I don't get off on the spinoffs or get on the spinoffs.
I like the spinoffs because now that those people, especially a situation like this, where like DJ and Stephanie and Kimmy and all of them were all like they're our age now.
Wasn't DJ like a meth addict in real life?
No, that was Stephanie.
Stephanie, yeah.
Stephanie was.
Yeah, not DJ. DJ is the Christian.
Yeah, DJ Kurt Cameron, Candace Cameron.
Right.
But I just love that show, man. It's like
That's right.
I think I've watched all the reruns of it like a million times.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I haven't gone that far. I mean, I enjoyed it as a kid, but as an adult, I don't.
I mean, it was cheesy as shit.
Yeah,
like when I went back and watched it, but I actually went back and watched all of it before Fuller House came out, so I would
just to kind of refresh your.
Yeah, refresh. But like
How many seasons are there?
I don't remember. There was like
probably like 13.
I don't know. 14? It was a bunch.
Did you cry at the last episode?
No, I didn't. But I was a little upset about it.
Sure.
R.I.P. Bob Saget. He was awesome. He was a good dad.
Mr. Saget.
So that brings us to Tim the Toolman
Taylor. Yes.
What do you think? What did you think of that show? That show was awesome.
I enjoyed it. I really did. And because we were right about the same age as those two boys, so we lived vicariously like we were those two boys, getting all that cool stuff.
And Tim Allen was like the best dad ever.
Yes. And then obviously we had a great representation of his helper, Pamela Anderson.
Yeah, and then it changed. It changed to the other girl.
So you had some sort of. It was a great show. I loved it.
Well, there was
always a good like message at the end. Like that was the good thing about those shows. There was a message, and you got the message. You understood it.
It's like
it was an emotional message, and it was like. That's what I'm saying. Like they raised us because we learn like what to do and what not to do through what their mistakes almost.
It's like on Full House, like at the end of the episode would always have them like sitting on a bed and the music starts fading in.
Yeah.
It's like, Stephanie, why did you do this thing?
You shouldn't cheat on your test, Stephanie. You know, there's some repercussions for that. You couldn't get into Duke University or wherever the hell you would go. It's like, remember like at the end of episodes of G.I. Joe, remember?
Yeah.
Friendly G.I. Joe.
Oh, yeah,
and,
yeah.
Like, kids are throwing rocks at the window, and then the guy like parachutes down. He's like, I wouldn't do that if I were you. Thanks, Mr. G.I. Joe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's awesome.
What was the mantra? It was like, always know G.I. Joe or something weird like that.
You know, it's funny because like all of those shows, like you said, they all had like a nice little, even Roseanne and even Married with Children.
Every single one of them had a message.
There was a message, but now it's like the reason that I like the Connors.
Now they have to have a fucking gay couple in it for the message to be transpired.
The Connors is an example of like a show because they're nice little 20 or 30 minute pops.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I love sitting down and watching, get invested into a show and watch all that. But I thought it was really nice that you just have like a 20 or 30 minute little show. And
you're in, you're out.
And then you're in, you're out. And there's not many of those anymore.
I agree. I mean, I think
that teach
you guys
you
were getting on. Yeah, you guys were on that. What was the show that you and Mike were watching all the time?
This Is Us?
Yeah, like that type. Like, is that show kind of have the same similar?
No,
or is it more just you're just watching drama unfold?
It's drama
between a family.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Drama.
Like, I agree. I don't think there's any like good wholesome. I'm not saying like cheesy wholesome, like fucking, Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah.
Like, oh, let's read the Bible and this, that, and the other. But like, I feel like yes, like there's some good messages out there that need to be put back into people's brains.
The problem with it is I think that the TV executives would probably tell you that
it doesn't get enough watches. It's not going to be.
It's not enough watches, and it's outdated.
Well, the thing too is that like I recently noticed that my son, he's like watching my youngest. He's about to turn 11, like on YouTube or something. Like they have like a split screen where you can watch two videos at once
on YouTube
or something weird. Like I'm like, what is like this is a complete brain scramble. And that's the other thing, too. There's too much information flooding our brains, and we're always like, it's instant gratification, whether it's information or purchases or, and that's the thing is like, I don't know if you watched that Amazon special about that chick that kind of.
No, I know what you're talking about, though.
But like, let's figure it out. Well, you're lying in bed and you need your head scratching. You need a new pillowcase. Well, let's figure out a way for they can buy one right now instead of let's take out them driving to the brick and mortar and touching stuff and feeling and contemplating. Yeah. Do I want to spend money on this? But like, I think we're just being flooded with information and it was so simple back in our day.
Well,
and that's why I feel like the TV messages were wholesome and simple, and now, like, the kids aren't wired that way. They would they need like Bo can't even get through a whole like short. Like I'm like, dude, I want to watch the end of it.
It's like the kids now. You were talking about the split screen and all that kind of stuff. People are absorbing all of this information, which it circles back to what I was saying a minute ago with that block that I feel like I have. It's because we are inundated with all of the things that are going on around us.
I think it's too much. I mean, I think you can use it in a healthy way, but again, I mean, if you're just doom scrolling.
But yeah, we all don't.
It is like,
we don't none of us self-regulate it.
It will. I mean, it ruins you. Like sometimes, like I'll download Instagram occasionally, and sometimes I'll delete the whole app in itself, or I'll just take it off the home screen. So sometimes I'll just forget it that I have it. But like, it's usually, hey, you're in the bathtub or there's nothing going on and you're just doom scrolling for 20, 30 minutes. But even after like 20, 30 minutes, like you're literally, your brain hurts. It's like, ow, ah. And there was a point in time too, it's like you're judging yourself to these people. And it's like, all these guys are doing the same thing. Oh, you can invest in this. And it's like, and then you start reading the captions and then it kind of makes sense. Like, oh, maybe this doesn't seem like it's right. It could potentially be illegal and this, that, and the other. And it's like, not everything you see is real, and I think people have to realize that and not judge their own lives based on this algorithm.
That's the problem. That's what we do. That's what's wrong with a lot, not just the kids.
That's why you have all this poncho stuff because it's into your feed on Instagram.
You're exactly right.
So you're like, shit, I'm about to buy that hat. I'm going to buy this flannel.
Well, the thing is I buy it. Well, this is about poncho. Like I bought it, and it was like being a fat man is like the only.
You are not fat, Jim. You are wealthy. You are
wealthy in size.
Yeah, you're just a big man. You're a big man. I was going to say you're well endowed in size, but we all know that. But you know what I mean.
Anyway,
You're fine.
But yes, it's not just the kids. The kids are, well, the problem is more severe with the kids because their brains are still developing. But like even for adults, it's like you can get lost in all that stuff and caring about what people are saying and caring about what people are thinking.
We're like, I don't make enough money. I'm not going on this trip and this, that. And
but think about what we were talking about in the beginning about how you and me and everybody else holds on to things.
Right.
And so these kids are, maybe they're nervous to put a video out there, and they put a video out there of them playing piano or some bullshit like that. And then the kids are just like, well, that's stupid. You know, it's like that fucks these kids up.
Yeah. Oh, and that goes too.
That fucks me up too.
Yeah, but people can. Here's a perfect example. I think I brought this up to my wife. Like right now, the whole dispute between Elon and Donald Trump.
I have that in my notes.
Okay, well that's fantastic. So it kind of goes back to like a week ago, last Friday, Trump handed Elon that key, and they all said nice words to each other. And then obviously they're tweeting, against each other at this point, and they've said some nasty words back and forth. And I turned to my wife. I was like, "Do you think that they would, if they got in a room right now, this second, that they would, and the cameras were on, that they would say that to each other?" I feel like they wouldn't. I would hope not, at least.
Trump probably would.
Well, I could see that because we expect that, but like. I feel like it's easier for people to be bullies and be that keyboard warrior when nobody sees your face and nobody can, like, you can't have that, discord with each other.
They're hiding behind the keyboard.
Exactly. And
I'm more bold to talk shit to somebody through a text than I am to their face.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. And I feel it's a disguise. Like people need to realize that it's all fake.
Yeah, I know. But you can't tell a 13-year-old kid that it's fake.
Don't hold on to it, 13-year-old.
Yeah, or you'll be us.
Or 44-year-old. Yeah, you viewer out there. Sorry, Mike, making eye contact again.
Anyway, so the dads, that's awesome. It's Father's Day tomorrow.
Happy early Father's Day.
Happy early Father's Day to you.
Tomorrow. It's on next Sunday.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, well, shit, then we're good.
You know why I know that? Because we always go to Litchfield Beach South, or maybe not. I won't. Well, we're going to have a house sitter, so anyways, it doesn't matter. So we always go to the beach.
You were worried somebody's going to come to your house and break it in.
Yeah, I had to wait a second. Like they tell you not to post like videos or pictures.
I know, but it's like, yes, if like somebody famous.
All you 10 people out there, don't rob my house.
Hey, 102.
Yeah. No, we are going to have a house sitter and dog sitter, so... because we have a new dog, we don't want to move him. And anyways, that's a different story. But yeah, reason I know that is because we always, the first day of the full beach is on Father's Day at the beach, and we've been doing it for like 55 years now, I think.
Yeah. Well, this can be, well then good. This works out good. These will be our Father's Day episode here.
It's our Father's Day gift to ourselves, huh?
It is. But so being a father, there's a lot of challenges. I've talked to different people that have been on here, and I don't know that I'm qualified to be a father. After my kids have grown up, it's like I'm questioning like their upbringing and how I did with them. All you can do is
I think it goes back to kind of being innate with it. You learn from your dad what to do and what not to do, right? You
just try to make it a little bit better.
Yeah, I remember telling myself, my dad was a very unemotional person. He was very even keeled, and I'm not saying that that's a bad thing at all. Looking back on it, it actually was a very good thing, I think. But I always I struggled with that because I was like, my dad never shows emotion.
Yeah,
I think I've talked about this before. Mm-hmm. Like, well, I promised myself I'm gonna show emotion and cry. Oh hell, I just cried earlier about 20 minutes ago, but
we'll be more emotional.
I promised that I wouldn't hold it back, I guess, to myself in front of my kids, whether I was upset or sad or whatever. And I think there's times when you can do that, and I think there's times when you shouldn't do that. I think I've learned a little bit of that balance, but it's hard. It's not like there's a manual out there that's that's one size fits for all, right? It's not. Everybody's different. Everybody reacts to different things, and I think you would just do the best we can, and as long as you try to raise them through the eyes of Christ. I mean, I'm not saying I'm doing the best of job. You know, my kids are. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we don't really go to church, but my kids do.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole different topic. But like, you know, I think we're doing the best we can, and it's not like when we're not beating our kids and leaving them out in the yard and
I mean
of that. But like, I mean,
I remember.
I think it's just. Yeah, we're doing the best we can. I think we're doing a fine job.
I remember when my kids were, or I remember when I was younger with my dad, is the same exact experience. My dad was never emotional. And so I was the same way. I'm like, I want to be more of an emotional parent. Well, I think what I realize now that I'm older is my dad was not emotional, not because he just was like hiding it or anything like that. Because I'm not emotional either.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's part of that, one of those block things to where like, I just feel like I want to be more emotional, but I'm not.
Do you think it's that generation too? Has to do a little bit of like, you know, who, you know, of the generation they were raised by? I mean, if you think about it, I mean, they were raised by the World War II.
Men.
Yeah.
Men's
I mean,
men.
my dad's dad was a colonel in the Air Force in, you know, World War II, and he didn't fly planes, but he was a meteorologist. But but still dealt with it, you know, traveled, you know, Japan and Italy and did all that. And Milton Hause, you know, I'm sure he didn't show too much emotion either. But
it could be. But
I think it's a good thing to not show emotion because I feel like there's always a constant there. You know what I mean? It's like you can rely on that constant.
I've said this before, and I don't know if I've said it on here, but like I want to be more emotional. And it's like I'll have a very significant thing happen in my life, and it doesn't hit me until years and years and years, 10, 20 years later. But I can be sitting there watching American Idol and see somebody get through, or no, America's Got Talent, and someone hits the gold buzzard, and the music's playing, and people are like crying and shit, and I'm just like,
well, that's what I'm saying.
You know, it's like I'll get a little emotional about it, but like something major that happens to me, it's like I'm just numb.
Yeah.
And so I think that, again, we are not therapists, but I probably need to go see a therapist.
Well, that is true. I guess, I mean, yeah. So you're saying you feel like you get emotional at the stupid shit when you shouldn't be emotional, and then the time you feel like you're emotional, or you should be emotional, you're not.
Yeah, I think that there's something. I don't know that there's something wrong with me. Everybody grieves things differently.
Yeah, I don't think that that's a thing that you should worry about too much.
No, I mean, I'm not too worried about it, but I'm just saying, like, in the sense with my kids, it's like I want them to know that it's okay to be emotional and
100%.
And to show your feelings. Just because I don't have any doesn't mean you shouldn't have any.
And I've asked my oldest that before. Is like, are you like basically, does this upset you sometimes when I show my emotions? And he's like, no, not at all. I'm like, okay, all right, you know. I mean, I'm saying all emotions, like, you know what I mean? To me, like, it's like holding on to something. If you keep pushing it down, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse, and eventually just
You're exactly right,
and it's just not going to be a good thing. So I'd rather just have a quick little yelp or whatever, or
go in a room and yell,
decompress for 24 hours or 48, and get over it, and you know, I don't know, but
yeah. Well,
you're a good dad, Tim. Don't you worry about it.
Thank you. You know what? You're not my son, so you don't really know. You'd have to ask my kids.
Again, it's all about grace, and you got to give yourself grace, and you can't look in the rearview mirror. If you feel like you've done something wrong, then you can ride it moving forward.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? You can't live in the past, and I think that's what's holding on to something. What are you doing? You're looking in the past, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe I should listen to my own words.
Yeah, it's funny.
Listen to yourself.
It's funny because I always
Yeah, you give this great advice. You're like, heed your own advice, motherfucker.
I know. That's what I was
Stupid
gonna
ass.
say. Me and Nikki did our podcast a few weeks ago, and I watched it back. We were sitting here because I was editing some things on it and all that, and I paused it. I was like, we're like, we got good advice.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
But like, I need to follow my own advice.
Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. That's what is a lot of times that, you know, do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
Right?
At least for your kids.
Yeah.
So anyway, you touched on this a second ago. I wanted to ask you about it.
Sure.
I don't know if we've talked about this offline or not, but tell me about like your hearing situation. Because hold on, before I want to preface it with this.
Yeah.
The first time that I ever met you, not maybe one of the first times I ever saw you.
I remember the first time I saw you.
We were standing. I know, but what I remember of you is I remember standing in our yard at work.
You thought how beautiful I looked.
And you came in like a bat out of hell into our yard.
Hell yeah!
And you got out of the truck, and I think you asked me something.
Where do I park this thing? And you're like, I don't know. It's like, you got a blue shirt on. Why can't you tell me where to park this
I think
thing?
it's because like I didn't know who you worked for, but
I think you were pretty new.
Maybe to that role, I don't know.
Yeah.
But like I remember seeing that you had hearing aids, and I wasn't like, oh fuck that guy with the hearing aids, but I was like, wonder what's wrong with that guy.
Yeah.
Too much loud music. So tell me what happened with you.
Well, I'm mild to severe hearing loss. I was born that way. So they didn't find out till I was 3. I guess my mom sent me to a speech therapist because what I was missing the S's and the C's. So like if my mom always said, I would say, instead of saying motorcycle, I would say motorcycle. And bay ball and backet ball, I would miss those, those high pitched like S and C sounds, and you can't, So they took me to a speech therapist who was actually his mom ended up being like best friends with her son for a long time. But anyways, Miss Duhan, and she said, well, a lot of times if they're delayed in speech, it has to deal with the hearing. So my mom's like, all right, we'll just take him to go get a hearing test. And that's when they found out that I had a hearing loss because my mom also said that like as a baby, I would pay more attention to the men because of the bass in their voice.
Yeah.
As far as directing my head and to when they would speak or whatever. But yeah, so once they found out, then that's when they put you on a fast track to catch up because you were delayed. I was delayed for 3 years. So I went to the Bill Wilkerson Center down in downtown Nashville, which is connected to Vanderbilt now. It's part of Vanderbilt now. I don't know if it was Vanderbilt back then.
Yeah, I think it was separate back then.
Yeah, my daughter actually has the same issue that I have. Not as bad a hearing loss, but born with it. So it does run in the family. But anyways, so they fast track you at this school, and you ride the short bus, and yeah, and then by the time I was in kindergarten at 5, I'd already been going to school full time, for 2 years. So that was nothing new to me. And I caught up, I had those behind the ear hearing aids, and then so I went through a public school system in order to get, I guess, help through the government, like subsidies or whatever. So when I say help, meaning I guess my teacher wore a microphone around her neck. It was like a big microphone, and then they provided they called it a trainer, and it was a brown box and it had wires that went up, and it was a separate set of hearing aids besides your normal hearing aids, and it was just, oh God, it was demoralizing.
Yeah,
it was just like because all I wanted to be was just normal. Like I was
gonna say it's one of those situations like we were talking about earlier.
You're singled out. Like I never, like even to this day, I hate walking into a room of somebody or people I don't know. And it just that really gives me anxiety. It's because it's like I'm getting better at it with age, but like ever since from a young age, I felt like I was always that one kid that's been singled out. You know what I mean? Not in a bad way. I don't think it's not like I experienced a lot of bullying because it was more of a self-reflection, my own, my own demons, my own thoughts, breaking it down. But anyways, so dealt with that and that was, it was fine. And then transitioned through grade school and the middle school with that same process. And then that's when I went to Christ the King in 7th grade because I wanted to go to Father Ryan and play soccer and my sister went there. So we opted to not use a trainer because we'd have to pay for it ourselves, and that's when I was like, I would just sit in the front row and just wear my normal hearing aids and deal with it. And then, that happened all through college or high school. And then in high school, I was very self-conscious. That's why I had long hair. That's why I looked like Kurt Cobain, because I could hide my hearing aids. Then I remember shaving my head freshman year during lunch. I had Spanish. Went to the gym, shaved my head, and then came back for the other half of Spanish class because they break up that lunch period or lunch class, and everyone was like, "What?" So I have a shaved head, and guess what? What do? I wear one fucking hearing aid for like 2 years.
Why do you only wear one?
Because it's better than 2. because I'm self-conscious with two. Why not just have one? I got one good side. I mean, that's how my brain was thinking. You know what I mean?
I get that. I get that.
It's like, and that's when girls are around, and it's not like I'm not confident in myself, and so that's when I think finally I'm able to get the in the ear hearing aids, because your ears stop growing, because you always have to constantly get new ear molds because you're just constantly growing, right?
Yeah.
So I got the in the ear hearing aids, I think my senior year, and I was like a different person.
You could hear.
I could hear, but like I was more confident too.
Yeah.
Like it was like just something shifted and changed.
So if you don't have those hearing aids in, can you hear at all?
I mean, I could. Yeah, I could take off and listen to the headphones for sure.
Yeah.
Like if you stood like 10 feet away from me, I'd have to read your lips. I mean, like you can tell. Like sometimes, I don't know if you ever noticed, but that I look at your mouth a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean I would have trouble, but I could hear you. I mean, you have a good, bassy voice, so I could definitely do it.
I have a friend an older friend that wears hearing aids. He says the worst is like when you're in a crowd of people, because it's like hard to pick up.
Well, the beauty about mine, that's the thing, is he needs to think about what type of hearing aids he gets, because you can cut out background noise. So like if you're in a noisy restaurant or whatever, there's a configuration where it's just basically the sound's directed to you, and it cuts out everything else. I mean, it doesn't like completely cut it out, but you can feel it kind of fade in and out here and there. And sometimes that messes with me. Because I'm like, I just want to hear like a normal person. Like a normal person doesn't have that capability. Like why do I need it?
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, I don't use it very often, but sometimes I do use it. And I mean, hell, there's been plenty of times where I'll go somewhere, I'll just turn my whole fucking hearing aids off, and I can still fucking hear it so loud.
Yeah.
Like even at a concert or a small venue or something like that. I'm like, good Lord, how are people in here? Like I'm like ear plugged in and off, and I'm hearing this shit clear as day.
Well, that's the problem. And like I spent a lot of my youth going to concerts and stuff, never wore ear protection or anything like that. It takes like a day or two to recover.
It's miserable. 100% agree.
Nikki, she can't hear out of her right ear.
Do either of you have tinnitus?
No, I don't.
Ringing of the ears?
No.
Okay.
So Nikki's, similar situation, but she was up 3 or 4. I don't know. I'll let her tell the story correctly, but they found a brain tumor or a tumor on somewhere, and they had to cut it off, but they cut most of it off, but they left some of it because
with her auditory or whatever.
Well, they couldn't cut it all off because it'd make her face like fucked up, and so it just makes it to where she can't hear out of that ear. Which last time we went to the doctor for her because she's supposed to get that stuff checked up, it's like they can give her a hearing aid, but she doesn't want it. She's just used to hearing out of her left ear, and I'm like, you don't know what you're missing with surround sound.
I know, and that's what I found out too. Like I would like be repeating people in conversations. Like they would just have said something, and I would think it's my original idea, and it's a verbatim what they just said. Now, did I hear it subconsciously and said it? I don't know, but like.
Yeah.
There's been several times that's happened. Like we just fucking said that. She
said that everybody thought that she was ditzy when she was younger because like she wouldn't be able to like hear something or she'd do like that, like repeat something that somebody said.
Yeah,
so
you gotta turn your head and get to the good air. Speaking about good air, get that cone out and be like, huh, boy.
Yeah, but that's okay. Well, thanks for telling me that story because I didn't know if it was like you just like listen to a lot of.
No, it's born that way. The same thing happened to my sister, or not my sister, but my daughter, my middle child. Didn't happen to my oldest son. It happened to my daughter, and didn't happen to luckily my youngest son.
Yeah.
And then, but I think they potentially can pass that gene down. So we'll see what happens. I guess in that neck of the woods.
Speaking of hearing loss, let's talk about cilantros.
Cilantro, like the Mexican restaurant?
Yeah, I'm just kidding. I was just
you got me there.
I wrote it down because like me, you, Mike, and Joseph used to go to Cilantro's a lot for lunch, and we hadn't been there in a long time.
I'll tell you, we found a new place that we really like. It's called I think it's Cinco de Mayo right there next to Sprouts off of 96.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Pretty darn good.
No, I've never been there before.
Yeah.
But well, do you get what I was gonna say is like every time we go to Cilantro's, you get your fucking street tacos.
Well, the funny thing you say that is ever since we've been going to Cinco de Mayo, we've been there maybe like 3 or 4 times. I always get the Speedy Gonzales. Like ever since, like for some reason, I just crave that. I get a beef taco with a shredded chicken burrito and rice and beans, and I just love it. It's like the perfect amount of food.
Yeah, and it's cheap. That Speedy Gonzales is like cheap.
$10, and then you know you get if it's at lunchtime, you get a Coke, and if it's at dinner time, you get a big beer with it and some cheese dip, and you're good to go.
I was thinking about it because we had the Mexican H2B guys come in yesterday at work.
Yeah,
and so every time they're doing onboarding and stuff, they have the taco truck there, and so I went out there and got some tacos, and I was like, is these fucking street tacos like Daniel always gets.
They're so good, and I always get pissed off. I mean, I know I always ask for the flour tortillas, so they're not truly authentic, but I just, for some reason, those corn tortillas, when they double them up and they just start falling apart, I just prefer flour.
That's how they have them in Mexico.
I know. I don't understand it. I almost don't even like the texture of it either. I think that's half the battle.
Do you just not like corn tortillas, or
I
you
just
don't like
corn tortillas? I almost don't even like the taste of them.
No, I love them. They're good.
Like it's just, I don't know. For some reason, I'm a flour taco guy.
You're a flour.
I'm a white taco guy.
A white taco guy, huh?
I'm a true authentic Mexican taco.
You know, it's funny because like even the Mexican street taco trucks and stuff like that are here, that's probably the most authentic that you can get in America. But I will never forget, because I've been to Mexico two times, and
I bet you the food down there is phenomenal.
It's just weird because it's different, because it's like not just the...
It's the produce. It's truly
exactly.
from there. It's like
exactly
you said, it's
like the
avocado.
avocado.
Yeah, it's a different flavor. It's
just
grown in different soil. It has to taste different. Not like I can't imagine like truly like a whole lot different, but it's got to have some sort of different element to it.
It's different enough that like in a sense that I'll give you a good example.
Okay.
So when the egg prices got crazy back a few months ago. When they got crazy a few months ago, I usually just, we go to Walmart to get groceries, but we'd get the cheap thing of eggs.
Sure.
And so they were out of them because everybody was running for them, and all they had were like the fancy eggs, is what I call them.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, fuck it, I'll get those.
They're good.
They're so much better.
They're so much better.
We've bought them ever since.
Yeah.
Same with
we get them too, the cage-free Roman.
Yeah. Same with the meat. It's like I never knew the difference.
We do cows. Do you buy like a half a cow?
No, I wanted to tell you because we talked about this before. I don't know if it was on here or outside of this, but like I have a whole pig in my freezer down here, and I want to get beef because the pork that's from that pig,
it's different.
It's fantastic.
I know it's not. It's amazing when you get pork because like my wife, her family owns a farm up in Iowa, and they farm hogs and cattle and corn and all that. And they gave us some pork, and you're expecting like this Jimmy Dean, like whatever, and I think we got some unseasoned like ground pork, and it doesn't taste like what you think it's going to taste like. It tastes like a fucking hamburger. Like you literally can make a hamburger out of it.
Let me tell you what I did.
You couldn't taste the difference probably.
I was always sending you guys pictures of like when I make smashed tacos and stuff like that. I'd use the meat from the store. But I actually took some of that sausage because it comes in the rolls, the ground sausage, and I made burgers out of that sausage, and it was way better than.
So a little greasy, but it's still.
You can drain the grease off a little bit, but it's just different, and I think that's why in Mexico when you get like that food because they're the cows and
it's like when you go to McDonald's and you get a burger and they say your burger's like from 30 different cows or 100 different cows or whatever, but like that's what I'm saying. Like you go buy a whole cow, you're getting that whole fucking like. Or at least a half a cow, you're getting the same animal.
Same animal.
And it's like, when you go to the meat and you buy a steak here and you might be buying 4 different cows. And it's like, is that, I
remember Chad at work told me one time that he was talking about the getting a whole cow and all that stuff. And he says that, like the shit at the store, because he buys all of his meat and everything like that. He says that he's seen it where, these cows are fucking like on their deathbed. They're lifting them up with a fucking forklift to take them to get butchered.
Gross. It's gross.
Yeah, it's just like,
And then it's humanely done if you get it from a local farmer or whatever, and then how it's raised. And like we're the same way. Like this last cow that we usually get a half cow, and it lasts us probably a couple years because we're not like heavy meat eaters, right?
Yeah.
Like you can get more tubes of ground beef if you want, or certain different cuts of steak or this, that, and the other. We weren't truly impressed with our last cow, but like I don't think we'll ever go back. I mean, because at the end of the day, after you pay the processing fee, it came down to being like the first cow we've gotten two half cows, so one whole cow, ever since we moved to Franklin. So that's lasted us 4 years, right? So it's about half cow usually lasts about 2 years, and it was like I think our first cow. I don't know if I did the math on the second one, but the first cow was like $3.28 a pound.
Mm.
Like that's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
I know it's
expensive up front.
Yeah, like it's $1,500-$1,600 to pay. It's a lot. Yes, I get that, but in the long run, absolutely, it's worth it.
Yeah, I want to do that because even before you got here, like Nikki made some breakfast, and we pulled out a tube of like I bought some that pig that I got. It was a pork and a beef mix, and she cooked it up and put it like in an omelet.
Damn,
and it was good.
You're making me hungry.
But we need to. I want to get with you next time you buy a cow because I'm interested in getting a cow.
I'll let you know. My wife always has a hookup or who to go through, and I think I'll ask her about that today actually because we're probably going to need one soon.
But all of that to say back to the tacos in Mexico, like the food out there, it's just different. Like we had some fish tacos.
Pescado.
Yes.
Pescado.
Pescado. And it was really good, man. It's just different than it is here. Yeah. It's like the trucks that you see out here in town.
It's fresh. It's just more fresh.
Yeah, right? the trucks that you see in town. Well, even when I go to Haiti, it's like, okay, well, we're about to have lunch, and they're like, all right, hold on. They grab a chicken that's like been running around, and they go kill it. I mean, some of the best food I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, I get it. It's fresh.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up here in the States.
It is. It's actually gross.
Yeah.
If you really think about it, it's gross.
I've never really cared about it, because look, the animal is dead, and I'm eating the animal.
I get it, but like if you truly watch the process, I think I think you'd be apprehensive. Not saying just to eat meat alone, but where are the sources coming from?
Yeah,
like you say, like when you go see these undercover hog farms, and you see what they're living in and how they dispose of them, it's kind of disheartening, but in reality it just is what it sucks.
Yeah, it's gross, but
you have to feed the masses, right? Nobody wants to see the dirty side of it.
Yeah, I mean, even when I go get meat.
Can you imagine all the waste? Like, think about that. All these animals dying for no reason.
Yeah.
Dude, that's where I feel like I get sad with it, like the waste part of it. Not that the fact that it's kind of like back in the day the Indians, they used all the every bit of it, the teeth to create whatever arrows and stuff out of the bone and this, that, and the other. And
yeah, well, they were.
I feel like we've lost that. Like
we just throw shit out. Yeah. But that's how we typically live here.
Americans, right?
Yeah.
Consumers consume.
Well, you got anything else? I got one more thing for you.
Yeah, go for it.
Unless you want to talk about something in particular.
As long as you don't make me cry again. Goddamn.
This might make you cry.
It does make me cry.
This is what I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, go for it.
I went back and I listened to all of the Two Sad Dads from 2019.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah, I went and found them, and so I listened to all of them.
Okay.
And Mike will probably be upset with me saying this, but they were all terrible.
Of course they were.
And the reason, and I think you brought this up when we did Two Sad Dads in here, it's because we're all sitting there at lunch eating.
Yes, and like then you hear the birds, and you hear the wind, and the leaves rustling, and
we're shoving the shit in our face.
Give me a Coke, Joseph. That's why I was like, I couldn't. That's why I feel like this is the perfect setup. And I always had this vision, and I always try to tell you guys, and it's finally come to fruition. I love it.
Yeah, I know.
You've done a great job.
Well, I appreciate it. But what I was going to say is most of the time when we went on those podcasts, where we would go is like hot dogs.
Hot diggity dog. Or not hot diggity dog, but
I Dream a Weenie.
Yeah.
So what's your hot dog obsession, Daniel? Let's get this out here. What's your deal with hot dogs? It's funny because I texted you a few weeks ago when me and Nikki were at a show at the factory, and I said, "Hey, have you tried this place in here?" And you're like immediately, "Fuck that place."
I do love a good hot dog. Well, I think it all stems from, again, my youth. All these things from the youth, right? My mom was a health nut. So when we would shop at she would shop at Sunshine Grocery. I don't know if you remember Sunshine Grocery. It was like
Sprouts before there were Sprouts.
Yes, like the original Whole Foods, like an independent owned corner grocery, where they serve nothing but like good whole unprocessed shit.
Yeah.
And so my mom would always shop there like every Wednesday, so I always got to walk down there with her, and she would always buy these, because I always wanted these Oscar Mayer wieners, the typical hot dog from the supermarket, and she would never buy them because she said, "Oh, they're so bad for you." So she would buy me these. They were called Beef Holland hot dogs, and they were probably just real beef hot dogs,
like Nathan's equivalent.
Yeah, and for some reason they just didn't taste like. I guess I was tasting real beef, and I didn't like the real beef. I wanted the shitty entrails of the pig, and all the mix mash and a fucking tube, and eat that. So every time I would go to my buddy's house at the Phase or whatever, they would have normal Oscar Mayer, and I would just hammer them down, and my mom would only buy them at the beach because you come back from eat lunch and it's a quick little snack or whatever. And
yeah.
So it was like if you can't have it, you want it, right? So, yes, my obsession brewed into hot dogs. I just love a good hot dog. I don't know, something about it. I just love it. And then when we started going to Hot Diggity Dog, because one of our coworkers introduced it to us, then I started getting like this hot pepper relish on it, and it's called Jardinera. Mm-hmm. And my life transformed after that. I mean, I was borderline addicted.
Well, it's funny because I remember when Starbucks came out.
I wanted to open a hot dog stand.
I remember when Starbucks came out, and I was like, how can there be this many different ways to drink coffee? But it's the same with anything. Like with the hot dogs, we go to I Dream a Weenie and Hot Diggity Dog, and it's like you can literally be like, okay, I like this about this.
Everybody has their version, and that's the thing with at Hot Diggity Dog, they use Vienna hot dogs, and you can get them either grilled, steamed, or what was the other one? I think it was just grilled and steamed. Or boiled, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, boiled, I think.
That was like my youth right there, boiling up hot
and dogs. then obviously the hot pepper Jardinera introduced. It was awesome. And good fries. And you know who I saw in there one time, and I didn't know who he was, but I knew he was someone famous?
Who?
John Prine.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's
and
awesome.
I was like, you're somebody famous, but I don't know. And then guess who came up randomly? It's kind of the side note, but came up on my Pandora mix at John Prine, and I was like, motherfucker! I can't believe I saw that guy in Hot Diggity Dog, and I didn't. I wouldn't have said anything, but I wish I would have known who he was.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, I mean, like everybody's got their take on it. Like, and then I Dream a Weenie. They have a good hot dog because they get their buns delivered every morning fresh.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I Dream a Weenie. I think that was my favorite one because
but you know what? Their hot dog is just an Oscar Mayer wiener.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's nothing special.
Yeah,
so,
it's what you do with a hot dog.
I know. And you can't. I feel like you can't. Like I'm not a Chicago style dog person. I think you gotta stick with the basics. But I think if I had my own shop, I would definitely offer the Chicago style. But like I think you just need to have a few little hot dogs here and there, and then you're done.
You could have your hot dog shop.
Keep it simple. Like a couple good beers. Like here's a Pabst Blue Ribbon and a Natural Light. You get two choices, and that's it.
Yeah.
You get a 16 ounce or a 24.
It's like that whole Raising Cane's chicken.
Yeah.
It's like they just do like the specific thing. If you want to go in there and get all this simple is better.
It's like it's like they go back to Chick-fil-A, where like Chick-fil-A has like 20 or 15 items on the menu at all times, or like, and you go to Taco Bell and McDonald's and there's like fucking 60.
It's just too much.
It's just too much. Again, it's sensory overload, like with everything.
I was going to tell you that you can open your hot dog shop inside of Mike's Corner Market. You know how he wants to have his.
I know that would actually be brilliant.
I know.
You know what I really wanted to do? I wanted to move down to the beach, specifically like the 30A area, and because actually I think Mike ran into a guy down there, and he was like just an older guy, and he was running a hot dog, like a truck or a food truck, but it was just hot dogs, and I was like, that just sounds absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Just the retirement and just giving hot dogs to people and clogging up their arteries.
That could be your life, Daniel.
Maybe. I'll do it. Yeah, right next to Mike's little fishing cabin.
His fishing cabin while he's out there writing down on a notepad what the weather's going to do because he's a meteorologist.
Exactly. I love it. We have a vision. You speak it, it comes true.
Yeah, I know. We just need to keep speaking it.
Oh, God, that would be great.
Yep. All right, Daniel.
All right, Big Bad.
I appreciate you coming out. And
thanks for having me.
Since this is going to be a part of our Father's Day celebration, happy Father's Day to you.
Happy Father's Day to you as well. And all the fathers out there, all of our viewers, Mike, Joseph.
All of you guys.
Appreciate you.
All right. See you, Daniel.
All right, bud.